To be honest, I feel very sad for President John Dramani Mahama. I mean, the betrayal of President John Dramani Mahama is monumental.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a gentleman who came to the people of Ghana and said, look, there are problems with the country and I want to solve the problems in the educational sector, in health sector and so on. He proclaimed a reset agenda. And he appointed people to assist him to realize that objective. And many of the people he appointed to help him to realize that objective, they don't just care. They don't care about reset. They don't care about restructuring the economy. They don't care about anything. All they care about is replacing him. What? Poor Mahama. Poor Mahama. And he's sitting there being held hostage. You know, and he's not been able to crack the whip. And they're dancing around him in circles and making nonsense of all the proclamations he has made. It's unbelievable. Visit the NDC social media platforms and see what is happening there. Who is talking about how to achieve the 24-hour economy? That's not their concern. It's about who is going to replace Mahama. It's so sad, it's unbelievable. So he appointed these people to help him leave a legacy. The people he appointed to help him to leave a legacy are saying to us that, oh, don't worry, very soon he'll become a lame duck. That's what they say.
Yeah.
They say, oh, by next year he'll be a lame dog. You have no power. We don't have to respect him. So let's start our campaign. What?
And they're actually campaigning. Can you just imagine?
Don't you pity President Mahama? It's so sickening, it's sad. And what does this tell the people of Ghana? What this tells the people of Ghana is that those at the helm of affairs don't care about us. They don't care about us. It's about themselves. Their ambition to become president. And sometimes I wonder whether they understand what it means to be president. Sometimes I suspect that it's about just driving in convoys with sirens and so on, the trappings of office. And quite frankly, David, some of the people who want to be president, look at them. Do they look like presidents? Do you think they have the capacity to be president? What is this rubbish? And it's happening all the time. In spite of caution by well-meaning people, it's getting worse. I know as a fact that the Council of Elders of the National Democratic Congress at some stage last year saw that this was causing a lot of problems and that it could divide the party, derail the party, and push the party into opposition, and decided to take some measures. I know what measures they took. And I know who went to the Council of Elders of the NDC to promise that they were going to stop. Have they stopped? It's getting dirtier and dirtier every day. It's sickening. Look, I want to read portions of what Mustafa Bandi said, how it is reported in the Hawk newspaper. It says, a storm is brewing inside the ruling National Democratic Congress as fears mount that the party could be tearing itself apart over who succeed President John Dramani Mahama. At the center of the drama is Mustafa Foyo Bandi, Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations and also a senior figure at the presidency, who has thrown a political hand grenade into the heart of the debate over secession. In a blunt intervention that has sent shockwaves through the party, Mustafa posed the explosive question, what if there is no flag bearer raised? His warning comes amid growing claims that senior party figures are quietly positioning themselves for power, sparkling what critics are calling early succession games. Inside government, Mustafa didn't hold back accusing ambitious party members of turning internal politics into a free-for-all where anyone with influence is allegedly trying to build a war chest ahead of a future contest. He warned that such behavior risks dragging the party into chaos, arguing that the National Democratic Congress traditional method of leadership selection should not be replaced with open and controlled competition, and so on and so on. You see, how can I disagree with Mr. Fagbandi? How can I disagree with him? If you look at all the empirical studies which have been done, anybody who seriously is aspiring to be president, to become presidential candidate of a political party which is serious about winning power, ought to have $100 million in his back pocket.
Yeah, that was 2016.
His or her back pocket. $100 million.
CDD, yeah.
So if that is at the back of our mind, and you see this flurry of people and so on, doesn't that frighten you? That 5 to 10 people think that they can raise $100 million from where? To go and contest. That in itself is very frightening. Okay? Now, anybody who declares that he wants to be a presidential candidate starts on the path of building the faction. Because it is A versus B versus C versus D. That already implies factionalism. And the factionalism is building up fast. Only 1.5 years after winning elections. It's sickening, it's dirty, it's nauseating. And I wonder why President Mahama continues to allow this to happen. I can't believe it. It's nauseating. Look, I have ears that hear some things. Today, if you go into the government machinery, some departments, some agencies, some setup is not working well. Do you know the excuse they give? So, we are not getting financing for our projects because the finance minister is interested in becoming president. And because he knows that I won't support him, he doesn't want me to succeed. It's all over the place. How do you tolerate that in government if you want to succeed? How do you tolerate that in government if you want to succeed? You see, the body things that you see, ministers talking to each other and so on, it's all superficial. Because deep down, everybody has a dagger ready to stab the other so that they become presidents.
And it's happening.
Oh, it's frightening. And what the example is given.
Why is it not frightening?
It's frightening.
Why are you asking whether it's happening? It's automatic.
Yeah, it's frightening, yeah.
You see, if you have 2 ministers who all are determined to compete to succeed President Dramani Mahama, do you think they will cooperate? Because every minister wants to outshine the other. What they have now is competition. It is not cooperation, it is competition. And it is a very dangerous thing to happen. And you see, my brother, let's be honest, that is why me sitting here, my respect for somebody like Haruna Idrisu has increased. When all this started, he came out publicly and said, I'm not interested. What I want to do is to help the president to achieve his agenda. He set himself out. That is why sitting here, my respect for the vice president has gone up. You know why? Because anytime she has been asked whether she's interested in succeeding Mahama, she says no. Her priority is to make sure that President Mahama succeeds. Anything after that is another matter. The priority now is to make sure that the NDC and the president succeeds in delivering the promises that they made to the electorate. It's not about who replaces him. Why? The mandate is for 4 years.
Yes.
The mandate is for 4 years. We have entered the 17th month after assuming office. All the key promises, how many of them have been achieved? And you are not focusing on achieving the key promises that you made to the people. Your focus is on pursuing a reckless ambition. It's unbelievable. Completely unbelievable. Completely unbelievable. And in any case, all those clamoring to replace Mahama and so on, do they think that if President Mahama is not able, President Mahama and the NDC are not able to deliver the promises they made to the people of Ghana, any of them can become president? Their becoming president is contingent on the success of this administration, not on their beauty or their handsomeness or the size of their pockets and so on. It's about meeting, satisfying the people of Ghana, and they are not concentrating on that. All their concentration is on this useless, and excuse my language, there's no other word for it, stupid competition for power. It's unbelievable. But you see, in the long run, who is to blame? In the long run, who is to blame? Why is President Mahama not cracking the whip? Why is he not sacking them? Why is he sitting there for people to dance tango around him and mess his administration? They are messing him up. They are messing him up completely. The people he has appointed are not focusing on the job. They've shifted their focus from the job to personal ambition, and it is time for them to go. It is time, if President Mahama is serious about delivering on the promises that he has made to the people of Ghana, he needs an entirely new team which is focused on the job, not on personal ambition. Why? What is happening? It's so sickening, it's unbelievable. So sickening. You understand? And I want to hope that President Mahama will crack the whip. I want to hope that he will get a team which is focused on delivering the job. A team who will not be sitting down telling the public that you will soon become a lame duck. A lame duck. A team which will work with him to the finishing line. You understand? A team which will be loyal to him. A team which will share his vision till the last day of his office. Not a team which is waiting for 18 months to election to dump him because he's a lame duck. Why? When he hears people referring to him as somebody who is just about to become a lame duck, how does he feel? What? President Mahama, you...
Can somebody make this argument that these are presidential ambition procedures and the maneuverings that are so happening are just necessary evils?
My brother, listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully.
Who is making the argument?
Leadership does not arise out of self-declaration. Empty self-declaration. That is not how leadership arises. Leadership arises out of commitment to a common goal. Today, if people in this administration are seen to be working hard to solve the problems of Ghana and so on, they emerge as leaders. Yes. It is not because they are proclaiming themselves as leaders or they are paying people to sing their praises. That is not how leaders emerge. You know, and I made this point last Saturday. If you join a political party, it means that your personal interests and ambitions, you know, have been subordinated to the collective ambition and interests. You understand? What they are doing shows that they have no respect for their party.
When you are given a political appointment as they have been given, it means that you have no right to think about your own interests. You have to think about the collective
interest. It shows that the interest of the NDC doesn't matter. The interest of Ghana doesn't matter. It's their personal interest which is superior. You understand? And to do this at the time when there are many foot soldiers, many people who are sacrificing for the party, some of who are unemployed. Some of the people today who are struggling for your party are unemployed. Some of them in the last 17 months have not had any appointments. Some of them in the last 17 months don't know how to feed their families and so on. And you are not concerned about that. You are interested in going ahead. As for you alone, you become minister, you become so and so, you continue to rise. The rest, you don't care about them. Who are you? What do you think you are? It's so sickening. I think that what Mustafa Gandhi has said is perfect. They should listen to Mustafa Gandhi. They should listen to Callistus Mahama. They should listen to the same voices in the party and focus on the agenda, the national agenda.
It will emerge. It will emerge. You don't have to preposition yourself.
In any case,
the party that we know.
Watch the record of the NDC. What's the record of
the NDC?
Who became president because they maneuvered and did these kinds of things that they are doing? Nobody who did this in the party ever succeeded. Check the record. President Mahama himself, how did he become president? Did he do what they are doing? He didn't. In fact, I know as a fact, when President Mills decided on him as a running mate, and he was told, he was shocked.
I said they had to negotiate with him.
I can tell you stories. In fact, the first time he was told, he said, "Oh, why? He wants to go to school and improve his, educational qualification and so on." That was his first reaction. When he was first told. At that time, he was living in where is this place? Is it? No, he wasn't living in Johulu. He was then living in this place. It's Legon.
It's Legon, okay.
You know, when the news was broken to him, President Mills himself, did he do what they are doing to become president? When he was approached by their horses and told that Mr. Rawlings wanted him, he was surprised. You understand? Why? Nana Jane did she do what they are doing? When Nana was approached by John Mahama, she was shocked. You understand? They should stop wasting our time. And wasting their time and the time of the NDC.
There should be some restoration of values. We are a social democratic party.